Yeah, fishing is not a very AFK activity, actually. Oh, I thought I could get it all the way in, but I broke the line just at the end. Yeah, the most difficult thing I gotta do right now is defeat Flaying Snow. What is this? Feeling crappy when fishing. 10 hooked fish get away. Ah. Okay. We got that title now. He, him, the stoic. Feeling crappy. I'm feeling kind of crappy now. It's about to be nighttime. We might have to switch baits here. Now, it is a double XP for the weapons. I don't think it counts for trade skills. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. I'll do one more. But this is why I respect. I wanted to be able to fish. And I'm just like trying it out right now. I wanted to remember how to do it first of all. But second of all, like trying it out here right now. I hear my audio scuffing. No, don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. It's crashing. Yeah, I thought this would be an AFK activity. I'd be able to just like fish and watch videos or something. But, you know, instead, I just recently picked up a 3-month free subscription to Kindle Unlimited. And got a month of Audible as well with that. So I'll probably be doing this and listening to audiobooks, really. I got a handful of them I want to listen to. I started out, I was listening to Viktor Frankl's A Man's Search for Meaning this morning. I didn't even really get very far in. I'm still like in the first chapters. They talking about like concentration camps and shit. I was like, oh my god. And it's like some of the stuff about like shoes, like if you had a good pair of shoes, you had to hide the fact that you had a good pair of shoes. They would do something with soap to make it look like the shoe was more scuffed than it was. But there were people who were caught trying to hide their shoes and they were given public lashings, or they said you could hear them, so I don't guess you could see the lashings, but they said you could hear the person screaming because they were trying to hide their shoes and they were being made an example of. It's like, holy shit, man. So yeah, the book starts in the deep end. I was like, damn. He said there's also this certain point. It's like a breaking point that you hit where you just know the punishment's gonna come anyways. So you just stop giving a fuck. It's like you really stop giving the suffering and the tragedy like any power. Not to say that it doesn't still suck, it does, but there's like a certain amount of detachment you can have at a certain point. And I know that I've been in those situations many times in my life where a good example was when I was in basic, we were at Fort Benning. It was the worst basic training you could go to because it was the all male one. And I was talking to my wife about this recently. It's probably why it's still on my mind. But the fact that it's an all-male basic training, and it's where airborne is trained, so like all the people who jump out of the airplanes and stuff, and it's also where the infantry is trained, so the people who are actually actively knocking down doors and shit are trained there. And I remember like straight out of high school thinking this is gonna suck. Like I'm getting sent to the hardest basic training, and like I'm going in with the mentality that it's gonna be like Full Metal Jacket, like fucking style army with gunny, you know, gut checking you and screaming in your face. There was still screaming in your face, but they couldn't touch you. They couldn't layer it. I actually thought, I actually was kind of relieved, but at the same time, it kind of felt like a joke because I went in prepared for martial arts and like close quarters combat. But it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. But then like, there's still the fact that a good example, actually, I was journaling about this, I guess you could say. one of my is the first day, actually the first day of our basic training, my platoon's basic training. I guess somebody had went to the latrine, somebody went to the bathroom and messed with the toilet paper display. They didn't even cover their tracks that they went to the bathroom. And you know how you go into a hotel and like there's that little triangle folded on the toilet paper, so you know, oh, somebody's been here and they've cleaned. Somebody messed with that, the little, and there's like, you know, 6 to 12 stalls like right next to each other, right? So one of those had a messed up display. So the drill sergeant came in, he was like, you know, basically asking who did it and asked that person to fess up, and like nobody was fessing up. And like after a while he started kind of getting irritated. He was like, look, I don't even care who did it at this point, just like I need to know who the fuck did this just for my own like peace of mind. But he was trying to give the person the benefit of the doubt, allowing them to step forward, but nobody stepped forward. So he started getting really mad. He started getting pissed. And like that was the first time I'd ever seen a grown man cry, or multiple grown men cry. Like we're all like, you know, getting the dog piss smoked out of us. Like we're basically having to do physical training until somebody admits that they did this. And like to this day, like I don't know if anybody even actually did. I was sitting here thinking about this, and I actually titled the journal entry, I was like, am I a coward? Because I started thinking back, I was like, maybe he was fishing for martyrs, like maybe he wanted somebody to take the blame. Because the reason why this stuck out in my mind, the reason why it's significant, is this was my first day of basic training in the infantry, like Fort Benning basic training camp, which is the same as the last day, the day we were graduating. The same thing happened. It was like on our graduation day, we had the displays up and someone went and took a shit and they fucked with the toilet paper again, and the display was messed up and nobody would admit to who did that. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I started feeling crazy, like, am I the person? Did I do that? Like I started asking myself, I remember wondering, like, did I do it? Was it me? Because nobody's fessing up to it. Like, and I think that's the case. I was thinking back, I was like, maybe he was fishing for martyrs. Maybe he wanted to see if there was going to be somebody there that would jump on the grenade. Like maybe for his own ego or pride, like maybe he wanted to know who that was, or maybe like, also maybe it was a lesson he was trying to teach. I was thinking maybe he's trying to teach the person a lesson, like for anybody that would want to jump on the grenade. Like maybe he's setting up a situation where he could teach them not to, for some reason, like to not go out. Because it's the case that when I was going to basic in 2003, like it was right after 9/11 had happened. So we were being trained for war. We were being pretty much prepared for war even then. And I don't know, like that's the only sense I could make of it in my mind. But like, yeah, it made me think, like, maybe I could have taken one for the team and saved us a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. Because even that day, like, we got the dog shits, we always got in trouble. And I remember at a certain point something clicking and thinking, all right, if this is going to be the case, if suffering is just the case, then I'm not going to let it affect me. I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm just going to go on with my life despite the suffering. And it's like this mentality. I heard David Goggins talk about it. David Goggins, not to compare myself to somebody like him, but he goes into this beast mode. And I remember being there with my platoon in Benning. When we got out of basic, we went to our advanced individual training, AIT. It's like our college, basically. And I had a 22-week college. Me specifically, I was there for even longer than that because I fell back a couple cycles because I wasn't paying attention or studying like I should have. But regardless, I remember coming out of basic training with the infantry where the airborne's being trained, after seeing the Stairway to Heaven with my own eyes. Like there's a place called the Stairway to Heaven, Honor Hill in Fort Benning, and that shit is vertical, and these soldiers march up that shit. And I remember it was like the second or third week of AIT, like all of us Benning guys had finally recovered. We finally, like, our bodies had a chance to heal from what we had been put through all that time. And in our basic, like, my shit wasn't easy. Like, our platoon was the second platoon of 4, And we were made to think like we were the 5th platoon, like the 6th, because we were the worst. And I remember getting super emotional because towards the end, towards our graduation, you start hearing like the rewards of like who the best platoon is and all this stuff. And our platoon was the best platoon out of all 4. It was, and I don't know if it was the best or the 2nd best, but I remember thinking I was lied to because I thought we were like the worst. I thought we were all shitbags. And well, anyways, after this couple weeks in AIT and our bodies had a chance to heal and recuperate, we had this way of like amping each other up when we were around each other. And I think they separated us, or would have had to have, because we got to a point in the morning, every morning you do PT, and Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays you go on runs. And just this day, like, I was feeling froggy. My last name begins with a B, so I'm always like one of the first people standing in line in school, or like anytime alphabetical order shit, like I'm up in the front. And I just happened to be like near the pace, or I remember thinking I was pacing, because sometimes being in the front of the formation, you can actually instigate. Like my wife, she's short, so like she would always lead the formation whenever she was put in a formation to run. Hey babe. And I would tell her that I'd start instigating her to run a little faster, because she'd be setting the pace, but I'm running next to her just a little bit forward, and she'd keep up with me just a little bit, and she would make grown men fall out of runs. So when we were going in like AIT after basic, all of us Benning boys straight out of Fort Benning, we start getting fired up, and we're feeling good, and we're fast. So, and we're, for whatever reason, going on an extended run. And when we realized the run's an extended run, when we were going this extra, like there's an extra part of Barton Field when you're in Fort Gordon where you can actually take like a longer track. And we had the drill sergeant out of breath, our own drill sergeant. And this guy, like, the drill sergeants, these are like gods to basic entry soldiers. And this guy's like, y'all need to slow down. He's sitting here breathing heavy. He's like, hey, probably y'all should slow down. And I think it was, no, I don't want to call his name, but there was a drill sergeant who used to tell people that they smell like goats. It's like, he would do a cadence. He'd be like, Private, you smell like a goat because you refuse to use your soap. And he'd be like, but I was always ready to go. I've been detected idle and I'm gonna be kicked from the game. I'm literally fishing. Like, what, I gotta take a left step or a right step so I don't get kicked? It's fishing, like, you can see why it's a focused profession here, because it demands a lot of focus, huh? Because you got like the tension of the line, the length of the cast, like there's a gauging in the timing of getting your cast. And then there's bait, like if you're not cognizant of like how much, time your bait has, you might have to actually replenish your bait. The moving, so you don't actually get timed out AFK. The time of the day as well, because there's different bait at night. So yeah, fishing's not just an AFK activity in this game. This shit is like focus and intense. But yeah, the point was suffering. You can come past the point of suffering where like it's commonplace to you and you're just like moving on past it and you're just gonna like live your life anyways. And I was like, I've been having a lot of problems with confidence and worthiness and like being able to actually like, say that I can be like in front of something or have like a creative or useful idea and like these types of things, because like I don't know, like I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I'm gonna start deliberately trying harder to not try so hard. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm gonna die. I died. I think without the audio here, I think I'm gonna wrap up this episode, guys. I'm gonna go eat some breakfast, and yeah, I shared something today, so yeah, there you go.